When are you ready to start applying for software development jobs? I know a lot of people, when they're trying to get into this field, they study a lot, but they don't know when they're ready to start applying for jobs. And that is what I'm going to talk to you about in this video. My name is David. I'm a freelance web developer. Today, I'm currently from Seoul, Korea, as I'm doing some traveling throughout Asia, walking along this stream here, and it's just like a walking trail. People come here to walk, exercise. So I thought I'll make you this video while walking along the trail. So when I made the transition into software developer, I got laid off from my job during COVID as a nightclub promoter, and then I took a coding boot camp, and I would research when should you start applying for jobs. And I remember watching this one YouTuber who said you should start applying while you're still in the coding boot camp. So hopefully you will have a job lined up for once you're done. And then after the first third of the coding bootcamp, the instructor also mentioned that knowing what you know now, you should also be capable of applying for jobs, just completing a third of the coding bootcamp. So I took their advice and I started applying for jobs, and these jobs, it got me nowhere, no callbacks, nothing. So when it got to like the second half of the coding boot camp, I kind of stopped because I noticed that it wasn't getting me anywhere, and then the studying for coding was being difficult. So I just thought I'll just focus on studying the coding boot camp for now. Let me finish the coding boot camp, and then I can start applying for jobs. So then I completed the coding boot camp and thought, okay, I think I'll be ready to apply for jobs now. And I applied for jobs. I applied a lot, nowhere at first, but then eventually I started to hear back. But once I started hearing back, constant rejections. I would get rejected. I would get screened out by the technical screening. Couldn't pass it. Couldn't pass the take-home assignments. I'll fail all the test cases. I got timed out. My coding projects didn't pass me. The technical coding interview take-home projects didn't pass me to the next round. If I did get an interview, I'll get screened out pretty much almost immediately, like after the HR screening, and then to an engineer. The first engineer will pretty much screen me out. So it didn't get me anywhere. I was just out of coding boot camp, but the things I've learned, I didn't really feel confident about it. I was still shaky with the concepts in this coding boot camp. So I wasn't getting any traction, ultimately because I wasn't ready. So it took me a while, but I eventually baby-stepped my way through a tutoring position, through an unpaid internship position. And then after this unpaid internship, I wanted to test that I really know full stack web development. So I created a project on my own without anyone's help. Because in the coding bootcamp, we have these capstone projects, but we work as a group. And when you work as a group, you delegate the project, and some person does this thing, and some person does that part. And you might not understand the full stack development. And you might have a weakness in your coding skills, and during the interviews, they'll see right through it and reject you. And then if you happen to have a coding interview, or just happen to be the part where you have a weakness in. So the coding bootcamps projects that I've done, I didn't understand fully of it, and it didn't get me anywhere until after I did my internship. I decided to do a project on my own without anyone's help. And once I've completed this project on my own, I used it to put on my resume. The only project I had on my resume was this one project I did by myself. In my coding bootcamp, we did 3 group projects. I took them all down because none of them I couldn't explain fully on my own, so I took it down. So with these 3 projects down, I just had this one, and with it, I would demo it during my interviews. I was able to explain every single line of code from this project to my employers, to the interview, and then ultimately I was able to get a job. So the first witness test to see if you're ready to to apply for jobs is if you can create a full stack project on your own without anyone's help, without following a tutorial, without relying on someone to help you, like a teammate. You have to write every single line of code and understand every single line of code. And with this project, then I suggest you be ready. And you need to be able to talk about every single line of code you did. If they question you during the interview, if they sometimes they question like certain parts, questioning your design decisions, like why did you design this way? Why did you use this API? Why did you design your database this way? You should be able to talk about the trade-offs, the advantages of how you develop your app. So that's the main sign that you're ready, if you can develop a full stack project by yourself. So that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos as I talk about coding, business, traveling. I do freelance web development work, so if you need help with a project, feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn, Instagram, on my website, and I can see I can help. And not just, and I like it so much, I also coach people with web development as well. If you're struggling learning how to code out of a coding bootcamp, self-teaching yourself, and you need extra help, feel free to message me. I'm also working on a course on the programming fundamentals, which I'm excited to bring to you all, where I create a course that's like language agnostic about fundamentals, because a lot of these courses that I've learned, they just go straight to like technical details, like a manual of what to do, but they don't really question why you do things certain ways. So that's what I hope to accomplish with my course that I'm working on. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching.